Welcome to our next video in this series of the rise of the Eco Guards. Stand on guard with me. The Call to Serve Canada. Part 2, Section C. Hopes in our home sweet homes. In many ways, and in a great many people's beliefs and opinions, including those as it relates towards our systems of justice. The old adage of, the truth will set you free, sometimes is more important than anyone would think. And many times when anyone attempts to push narratives that don't line up with what actually physically or spiritually took place, a different perception can help those that want to truly comprehend those facts and truths in order to gain enlightenments. Anyways, from my perspectives, as it relates to Moncton's transient peoples or homeless issues, as well as many spiritual beliefs, which I was intensely learning while also being involved in helping to alleviate those homeless issues in the late 1970s and 1980s, within my many roles at Christian home centers, and still limitedly helping in my own individual way, years later, but with evolved and different spiritual beliefs. I clearly recall Sister Rita Barrio in late 1981 and 1982 approaching Reverend Ralph Caldwell and I and wanting to know what we were spiritually teaching, as well as how we were conducting our affairs at Christian home centers at one of our new primary locations at 90 Fleet Street in Moncton, which just so happened to be transitioning to a co-ed facility, for it was really difficult to maintain several other facilities with very limited funds. Anyways, at that time the CHC had 4 facilities in total within and around the greater Moncton area. 2 residence centers which were beginning to be decommissioned and desanctified. 1. The men's residence and Christian drop-in center at 198 St. George Street. 2. A women's residence location at 1289 to 1291 Emerald Street in Dieppe NB. Plus a remaining Grand Dig, decompression retreat, and farming facility, and of course, the unified co-ed facilities at 90 Fleet Street in Moncton. Anyhow, when she approached us and stated to us both that she wanted to start something very similar to what was being conducted by the CHC organization and would like some of our help, but she did indicate that her facility would be managed in a slightly different manner, with the support by a local sisterhood of Roman Catholics. Of course, we assisted and taught her what we knew and also almost everything that we were achieving, for it took a long time through trials and errors for us to learn and attain that knowledge while putting those to practical use. And if our trials and tribulations could help her achieve her goals without going through the same thing, why not? For that societal need was increasing back then, and it's even greater now. And we truly believe that any combined efforts on all our parts should truly help alleviate those conditions for those homeless. That said, Sister Rita, with the assistance of several other younger women or sisters, eventually opened their doors to transient and homeless peoples at 61 and 65 Churchill Street in Moncton NB, a place entitled in English, the House of Nazareth. That said, they preferred the French title, which is the same, La Maison Nazareth, but primarily at 61 Churchill, while 65 Churchill was the place mostly for the women in the group. I did notice, though, that many other peoples began to drop by, even though they really did not need any real help with housing or even a hot meal. But then again, I may be wrong, for there are many mentally challenged peoples in our city that just need some guidance and a place where they can feel wanted, respected, while still receiving some fellowship and love. But in societies, that sort of thing happens all the time. It's a form of communal spirit, and we experience that sort of thing as well. Hence the reason for the drop in center portion of both organizations' facilities. At times, though, I felt as if we were operating a viewing zoo for those people in our society that came to witness the hardships of others, while others that hung around had a predilection towards taking photographs. Honestly, I could not understand how someone could spend money on pictures when there was so much work to do and people to help feed. For digital cameras or cell phones were not even around during those times. But I would learn later in life that some people just want to capture moments in time. And really those types of pictures would truly help in the production of this inspired factual work. But that will be limited in its overall viewing. Nevertheless, my accounts will be as accurate as I perceptually validly recall. As time went along, Both organizations conducted themselves within the best manners that could be expected, considering that we were both attempting to help in an area of society that was beginning to grow at a very fast rate and being neglected by all governing bodies, but also in an area of our society that really no one was properly educated or trained to deal with. And believe me, I checked into it. There was nothing in any university as it related to any type of course of studies or a Bachelor of Arts in, or even attaining a doctorate towards, short of studying to be a psychologist or psychiatrist. Hence, that was part of the overall reasons that we later felt that we needed to teach what we had worked towards, as well as all the manners in achieving what we had learned. But I did remember what one of my aunts had said to me years earlier about missionary work, for she was a devoted Roman Catholic sister in Christ Jesus, whom had traveled the world, doing God's missionary works in such places as Papua New Guinea and so many more. And her words were truly quite simple as it relates to helping anyone. Just get up and do it to the best of your abilities. Anyhow, those that had the real means to help within our society chose to stand by and only watch, which included the federal liberals under Pierre Trudeau and the progressive conservative provincials under Richard Hatfield. And we attempted to achieve all these things with very limited funds and no government supports, although I did voice those concerns to many politicians that I was helping or volunteering with during those times. But I digress from that fact for now. Anyways, I recall many times when we, the CHC organization, were fortunate to receive an abundance of donated supplies, of whatever nature, of produce or products, we would bring a fair share to help our sisters in Christ Jesus to the house of Nazareth. And, to be very blunt, some of those supplies also came from a source that many would have completely turned their noses at nowadays. And that fact points to our previous video, but also points to what I was conducting prior, and also during those many years, as it relates to studying, analyzing, and coming to many determinations about those riverside dump systems, and all the physical ecological devastations happening around those places, as well as to our local river systems and all those waters, lands, and skies. That said, I was heartbroken by the fact that all my written observational logs and samples that I had diligently collected over all those years, actually dating back to the early 1970s, mysteriously vanished one day from my small room. Guess I should have chosen a better place to keep all my detailed records, for they were extensively detailed and truly showed what types of items, chemicals, and so many other discarded things that should never have been placed at those landfill sites, but also showed which companies and truly who was placing those devastating chemical items at those landfill sites. For I had attained quite the collections of barrel labels from those field studies. Nevertheless, we were fortunate to get those supplies before they reached their destination. And that was only because one of the odd jobs that we would take on in order to bring any monies into the CHC was to haul goods, furniture, or really anything else from point A to point B. And dump runs were not uncommon. So we were capturing many sealed and still wrapped and not outdated foodstuffs before they would reach the Moncton Riverside dump, as well as many other physical wooden and antique items, such as dressers, chairs, tables, and so on. And in those times, anything that could help with our facilities or even allow us to clean, repair, and sell to a great auctioneering supporter of our causes, for whatever monies we could attain, was greatly needed. Moreover, we would also conduct other odd jobs like carpentry, wood framing, building decks, internal and external house painting, yard maintenance, motor vehicle repair, and automobile bodywork, and so many more types of work which apparently are now considered gig work. All these types of knowledge and hands-on experience would also come in handy later in life. And hopefully, you'll witness what I'm referring to as these series of videos go along. Anyways, I'll leave off at this point for now, but I'll continue this fact-based perspective series soon. Next time, stand on guard with me. The Call to Serve Canada, Part 2, Section D, Enduring Tribulations and Continuing Hopes.